Hi, I'm Greg Hunter. Welcome to the weekly news wrap-up for Friday, January 11th, 2013. Well, it looks like the gun control debate has pushed off the budget debate, the critical, severe budget debate, right out of the limelight, and now it's all gun control all the time. This budget debate is serious. This is the most serious budget debate I think we've had in modern history. Really, I think it's a serious budget debate ever. The full faith and credit clause of the United States could be called into question. In other words, we may not pay our bills. The debt ceiling has to be raised, or they have to make massive cuts to compensate for it. I mean, the debt ceiling, we're talking about $1 trillion or $2 trillion. Last time they raised it a couple of trillion. I'm sure they want another couple of trillion. Actually, the Obama administration wants the debt ceiling raised to infinity. What about all these sequestration, these mandatory cuts in welfare and military spending? What about coming up with a deal to cut the government spending? This is absolutely frightening. Listen, the Joint Chiefs of Staff not too long ago, Admiral Mullen said that the debt problem in America is a national security issue. This is a big issue. And they're talking about gun control, and this is mad dash for some sort of gun control right now, right here. They couldn't wait a couple of months after they got this debt thing solved. And it makes me ask this question. Are they really hurrying up some sort of gun control issue? And also Biden said, hey, they can do this by executive order. Really? What about that Constitution? And I think the bigger issues, let's start and work our way out. The bigger issues are, what about all these psychotropic drugs? What about every one of these people that shot people up in Newtown and shot people out in California? Every one of these people is insane. They are insane. And they're taking these psychotropic drugs. What about an inspection of our mental health system in America, why these people are institutionalized? What about asking the drug companies and taking a look at these drugs? Maybe they don't work very well if people are taking them and shooting people in mass, if crazy people are taking them and shooting people. And we'll expand out even farther, is that why are they doing this mad dash for gun control? Is it because the economy really is on shaky, shaky grounds, despite the fact they keep telling us we're in a recovery? If we were in a recovery, would the Fed feel like it had to print up $85 billion open-ended to infinity every month to buy the fraud of bankers and to prop up the U.S. government by buying treasuries, $40 and $45 billion? Would they be doing that? Also, interest rates set to near 0% until 2015? And what about all the rampant banker fraud and crime? I think it's pretty safe to say that we have had rampant banker fraud and crime, and none of this is fixed. So does that make the economy stronger, or does it make it weaker? I suggest weaker. HSBC, for example, the reason why regulators only fine them about $2 billion for laundering money for Mexican drug cartels for a number of years, and also terrorist groups, the reason why they only find them is that, according to the regulators, they are afraid of bringing down the financial system. Not just bringing down HSBC, the financial system. HSBC is another bank in a long list of banks that did various money laundering things. But let's just go with HSBC late last year with this nearly $2 billion fine. And what about all the other fraud that has gone completely unpunished criminally? I mean, we have all these mortgage-backed securities that basically have big banks like J.P. Morgan recently paid a $300 million fine. They just had a big settlement by the Federal Reserve where globally these banks all got off the hook for creating these terrible mortgages. They sold liar loans. They misled people. They packaged these liar loans into securities. They were AAA rated when indeed they weren't. The Fed's buying them at $40 billion a month, so that's fraudulent. They were equal to a treasury, and no, they weren't. The Fed expanded their balance sheet by $3 trillion or so, and they're continuing to do this. LIBOR, the rate rigging scandal, is the granddaddy of all frauds. I mean, $800 trillion in interest rates are set off the London Interbank Offered Rate LIBOR. And fines, so far, just fines. Just fines. And I've long thought two reasons. A, I think these guys contribute massive amounts of money to campaigns, and they bought off our politicians. And then the other thing is that I think the regulators are afraid they're going to implode the system, as they mentioned, as the reason why they didn't pursue criminal charges against HSBC. So is the government afraid of another financial calamity? Are they afraid of having armed citizens with guns? Can the economy really be fixed? Can it really be fixed? And what are they doing to fix it? Just finding some banks? Just find them? Find them and, okay, we're done. Really? I don't think the economy has been fixed, and I'm not sure it really can be fixed before a collapse. Next up, AIG. AIG will not be involved in a lawsuit, a shareholder lawsuit. The company will not. The shareholders think they got a raw deal. That the shareholders of AIG didn't get enough money for their stock. In the financial meltdown where the taxpayers ponied up $182 billion ultimately to bail out AIG. They didn't get it. We helped them. We didn't help them enough as taxpayers. Really? What do you suppose those AIG shares would have been worth if we wouldn't have bailed them out? A number approaching zero? Maybe a negative number after all. At one point, we put in $182 billion into AIG. And to the AIG shareholders, I say, what a bunch of ungrateful weasels. At least the company knew better than to bite the hand that bailed them out. Next up, Jack Lew. Jack Lew is going to be named Treasury Secretary. You see him right here with the president. He's going to be the new Treasury Secretary, replacing Tim Geithner. And, he's a derivatives guy, expert, in part, from Citigroup. And he came up, with the budget with President Obama in 2011 that couldn't get any votes at all. It was defeated, I think, 97-0 in 2011. That was a budget. He said that, we can look the American people in the eye and tell them that we're not adding to the national deficit. Senator Jeff Sessions from Alabama said that was one of the biggest, basically lies he's ever heard while he's in Washington, D.C. And this is the guy that the president is nominating to be the new Treasury Secretary, a banker. Well, hey, at least it's not a banker from Goldman Sachs. Finally, record amounts of Silver Eagles were sold on one day this past week. Something almost like 4 million Silver Eagle U.S. minted coins. What do you suppose a U.S. Eagle would be worth if they went ahead with this $1 trillion platinum coin idea so we could expand the debt ceiling by $1 trillion with one coin? What do you think an eagle would be worth? Well, let's see. An ounce of platinum, and I figured the coin would be an ounce. An ounce of platinum is worth about 16.30 an ounce of platinum. And so, I'll tell you what the rest of the world would think. They wouldn't take a look at this academically, like, well, we could print all the money we want. The rest of the world would say, the dollar's worth $1 trillion for an ounce of platinum. Therefore, an ounce of gold is worth, I guess, $1.1 trillion. An ounce of silver would be worth maybe $5 billion. You think that caused some inflation, some perceptions of inflation? If they had $1 trillion coin and deposited it at the Treasury to expand our debt ceiling? That is so stupid. It's I can't even believe anybody even came up with it. I can't even believe academics said, "Oh, this might work." Really, it would work. It would crush the economy and cause inflation so fast you wish that you never even thought of that idea. And the economy, as I said, is already on very, very thin ice. That's the way I see it. I'm Greg Hunter. Thank you for supporting USAWatchdog.com.